Hi guys, so today's video is all about very simple recipe which is oats milk recipe. This is a very simple recipe. I think anyone can make it at your home as long as you have blender in your home. So before we go into the recipe, let me share something about oats milk to you all. So oats milk recently become very famous among most of the people. If you know that many people have started to use oats milk as a replacement of cow's milk and also nuts milk, because some people might have nut sensitivity or allergy with certain nuts, so that's why they can't consume nuts. And also some reasons like we only can take about handful of nuts per day, but because of milk you can't consume a lot so frequent. So that is the reason people start to think for what I can replace with a nuts milk or soybean milk or any types of bean milk to other types of milk. So that is the reason oats milk become very famous. And if you ask me why we can't get oats milk from the store, definitely you can go and get it. And if you see in certain coffee shops or any place that very famous with the barista coffee or something, they will be using some oats milk as well, because store-bought oats milk is very good for the barista coffee because it's already added with certain things, something like preservative, some oils. So the oil is the one making it to be something like creamy texture, like a frosting kind of a creamy texture. So you can see some foams on top of coffee or latte is because of the oil that they added. So usually we will see in the normal or natural creamer like a cow's milk, the one they are using, because it contains a lot of fats inside. But if you ask me about oats milk don't have that much of fat to support forming the foams actually. So that is the reason they are adding some oil inside the oats milk from the stock. So here I'm not going to adding anything like oil unless you want to make your own creamy kind of texture or creamy frosting on top of your coffee or latte, then you can add some oil. But if you ask me personally, I just enjoy oats milk without anything. And what I like about oats milk is because it's already contains some natural sweetener, because it's definitely oats contains some starch inside. So these are the starch that releasing some sweet taste inside. So it's naturally sweetened, then you might not needed any types of sugars if you want to drink oats milk alone. But if you want to add on something like maple syrup or coconut sugar or anything in the future, is up to you guys. Another most important things about oats milk is, normally if you want to make some nuts milk at your home, you need to soak it first. But oats milk, you no need to soak it. It's just like you just take your oats and make it like a milk straight away, like blend it. But certain things you have to know as well how to prepare it. So before preparing oats milk, why I'm explaining very detailed, because you need to know certain things. And oats milk naturally will produce some kind of sliminess also, because as I mentioned earlier, it contains some starch inside. So this starch is the one producing the sliminess, or can say something like sticky kind of glue texture, is because of this starch. And also it contains some gluten inside as well. If you ask me which one should I buy, if you go to the shops like gluten free or already like organic one, or how it's just a gluten inside, a high protein inside, and it is mentioned organic, how to buy it, I definitely will say it's your preference. If some people who have a gluten sensitivity, they can go for gluten free. But if you're a person who practicing to cut down your gluten, you can go for gluten free as well. But if some people like us, like it's okay to take a whole wheat, you can choose without gluten-free packaging, but make sure it is organic. Because why? When we are preparing oats milk, we straight away take the oats and we are blending it. So if you're choosing non-organic, sometimes it contains some pesticide and also herbicide. To avoid all this, that's why I say you can choose some organic rolled oats. So as I mentioned rolled oats just now, yes, we need rolled oat to prepare oats milk. So it depends on how much you want to make. It's the quantity, it depends from you. Sometimes I will prepare in a large quantity if I'm the only one who going to consume, like just going to drink it as a milk, or I going to mix it with my granola or smoothie. I just prepare as a small quantity, unless if I'm going to cook like a cake batte or some of my recipes I'm going to use some milk and I don't have any milk in my house, so I want to make it more quick, more faster. I will prepare in a large quantity and I will store it. So here is the recipe that I will be sharing to you. If you want to make your milk in a larger quantity, you can go up to 1 cup of rolled oats and use 4 cups of cold water. Yes, I said cold water. The reason is because, as I mentioned earlier, oats contain starch or carbohydrate. This carbohydrate is the one releasing the starch. These starch are the one producing the sliminess. So to reduce the production of the sliminess or the starch inside the oats, that's why we have to use cold sorry, that's why we have to use cold water. So in this video, I'm using half cup of the rolled oats and 2 cups of cold water. My cold water I already store it in refrigerator to make it cool or cold. And if you have a water dispenser in your home, like straight away can dispense some cold water, you can directly use that one, or else if you want to add some ice cube inside in your blender also can, but make sure your blender is in a good quality and high quality blender, then it can blend your ice cubes as well. After you have add on rolled oats and also your water inside the blender, it's up to you whether you want to add any sweetener or you don't want to add on any sweetener, also fine. For me, I don't like to add on any sweetener because I prefer the right amount of sweet taste that given by oats milk naturally. And some people will add on some maple syrup or coconut sugar, something like that. But if you wish, I will ask you to blend it first, then you taste it whether you prefer anything to add on, or in the future you can add on. So it's up to you whether you want to add on anything like sweetener inside. Then the next thing is vanilla essence. Vanilla essence, actually I forget to add on before blending, but it's still fine if you forget to add on during blending. After you blend it, then you will filter it right. Then after done with the filtration, you can straight away add on your vanilla essence, about half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon. Then you just stir it and let it to combine well with your oats milk. So during blending also needs certain techniques that you should know. So for blending, normally blender will produce some heat. When the blade is spinning, it will produce some amount of heat. So this heat can cause this oats milk to produce more sliminess or starch kind of a sliminess can be produced. So to avoid this, you can reduce your blending time. So how to reduce your blending time? Maybe you can blend about 20 to 30 seconds, but here what I did was I blend for 15 seconds, then I stop it for a while, then after few seconds I start to blend it back for next 15 seconds. So here in my quantity, the one I use a half cup of rolled oats with 2 cups of cold water. I blend it for 30 seconds. If you use 1 cup of rolled oat also, you can blend it for 30 seconds. So there is no added with the timing when you add on more oats. So after blend it, next will be the filtrations. So the filtration is another technique that you have to know. When you're filtering your oats milk, we can't use a normal filter. The best filter you can use is something like cloth kind of filter or muslin cloth you can use, or you can buy something like to filter nuts, milk. There is a certain filter there is a certain filter that they are selling in online, but I already have some tea leaf filtering filter, and also I have a muslin cloth, but my muslin cloth is a very big, so if I use it for small quantity oats milk, then I have to wash it and dry it again. So that's why I use something like tea filtering kind of a filter. It's much more smaller and easy to hold. That is the reason I use this. So if you have something like this, you can use it as well. And when you are filtering it, The most important is don't squeeze it. Don't squeeze it very hard, because why? When you squeeze it very hard, what will happen is you are naturally releasing the starchy or sliminess from the oats pulp or oats sediment. So that is the reason you can't press it very hard or squeeze it very hard. You just like bring it at the flow to the down little by slowly and slowly. When you see in the video, my hand looks like a bit hard, hardly I'm squeezing, right? It's not like that as what you see. I'm just pressing gently as I can actually. After done with your filtering, there will be some sediments that you'll be seeing inside your filter. That one you can keep it for other recipes like cookies or any other recipes or smoothies you can add on in also. But it depends on you whether you want to add in any of the recipes, but you can keep it and reuse it, so don't worry guys, you can still consume those sediment or pulp, oats pulp I can say. So now is the next information. After done with your first filtration, if you want to do second filtration, you can still do it, but up to you. For me, I'm satisfied with the first filtrations, but if you want to make your milk to be more smoother or looks more smooth, you can filter again, but make sure your filter is already been cleaned and filter it again. Then done with your second filtration, the most important thing is you must store it in refrigerator. You can't store it at room temperature at outside, because the longer you store it at room temperature, it will start to release more sliminess, because the weather is hot or warm kind of conditions it can release. And if you want to store it for longer period, you can store in refrigerator up to 1 week. Last but not least guys, I have to remind you guys something. If you want to use your oats milk like smoothies or added with your granola or any type of cereals you want to consume as your breakfast, you can still proceed it. Or if you want to make anything like a cold drinks or anything, you can just add on your cold oats milk. But if you want to use in something like hot latte, hot coffee, or my cake latte recipe, I use oats milk, it will release something like slimy kind of conditions or states I can say, or texture I can say. But I prefer the sliminess to be produced in my cake latte recipes. But if you are a person want to use in coffee or latte and you don't like something like slimy texture, please don't use it, but you can use it as a cold latte or something like that. And if you're a person who don't care to have some kind of slimy taste or sliminess, you can proceed actually, because I'm a person, I'm still fine with the sliminess, but as long as I keep in refrigerator there is no sliminess, it's still I can enjoy drinking it. So I hope this video is very beneficial and very useful for you guys, and please try to make your oats milk at your home. And this is very simple recipe guys, as long as you have some blender in your home, it's fine ready. So see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.